Hello, people. It's your girl Judith here. So happy to be able to connect with you here for our week 4 in our series on activating the author in you. I feel really happy and overjoyed because despite the difficulty with the YouTube channel, we can still connect here. If you're watching this, you're watching from Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or Rumble. And I want to start by expressing my gratitude to all of you who reach out to say, okay, don't give up, Julie, just keep pushing. It's just a setback. We're still working with YouTube support team to understand what happened and why, what happened to the channel. I'll tell you more when I know more. I don't know yet. But one message that was clear was don't give up. We want this series to continue. We would like to continue with the momentum. I said we are in week 4, and in week 4, we have come. I'm sorry, it's like I want to cough, but it's not coughing, so it's like okay, it's out. So we are in week 4, and essentially rendered here, you visualize what your book completed looks like. You've reflected on your intention writing a book. You have an idea on the impact that book can create in your life, in the life, particularly in the life of people, of your readers. And maybe you've already started talking to some of those potential readers of your book. Good job. I feel like getting curious and asking, how was your week? How is your routine? Were you able to complete with the action items from last week? Finding kind of a time that will work best for your writing routine. Did you complete the creation of the structure of your book? This week, essentially, we will turn that outline into an action plan to complete your book. Our promise with the series has been to, in 12 weeks, come out with a completed draft. So it's not just thinking, reflecting, but actual pages, actual chapters, a completed draft that you could submit to an agency or that you could self-publish by yourself. So, and we are in week 4, so we've done like 1/3 of the way. Yeah, 1/3. It's cool. Kind of a moment to just stop and say, wow, I'm good. I made progress, because now you have a clear description of the goal of your book. I want to write a book for the audience so that the value you're bringing to the audience, because the importance, the purpose behind your book, you have it clearly written and maybe developed somewhere in a journal. So far, you have a vision board of your book, what it does, the impact on people, the impact on you, and like what it looks like, what it feels like. You also have a mind map of the book and potential chapters, the different aspect of the topic that you want to tackle, how you want people to feel, what you want them to do after reading the book. And today we want to turn that outline, that structure that we worked on last week, into a concrete action plan. How do you come out in about 7 weeks with a completed draft? Yeah, you may say it's 7, because last week will be celebration and hearing of people, of the progress that people have made. So 7 weeks to have that draft out. And actually the focus in from week 4 to 8 is right. Today we are creating the action plan that will facilitate the right, action. So that at the end of month 2, you have something you've gotten out, you've put out everything you want to say about a book. And then the last month will be fine-tuning, editing, arranging the structure, adding more meat, adding more weight. But we aim in the second month of our series from week 4 to 8 to get that out. And in today's live, we will show you how you do that. So let's dive right in. Judith is learning. I'm still trying to master how Restream works. So if you see some hesitation or clicking on things and they're not coming up, please be patient with me. I'm learning. I love to learn. I'll get better. So just be patient with me. Today is you creating your can-do plan. And essentially we are creating a roadmap from that structure to completed pages, completed chapters. And I love this quote. I thought it was the right one to do the session with. Like, a book is written one page at a time, because we enter the phase where in general people will feel like, it's overwhelming, it's challenging, there's just too much. Like, one chapter is very long, I want to provide all the details. Will I ever finish this? It may sound like a very huge mountain, but as you will see throughout the life, taking it in chunks as small as 30 minutes or even 5 minutes talk. Let's see how we do that. um and yes, if we move to the next thing, essentially the goal is from planning to actually doing. I say by the end of today you have an action plan on how to make that happen. And I want to again stress the importance of having that structure. We talked about it last week in detail. If you've not, oh, I was about to say, if you've not watched it, go and look at the live and watch it. Crossing hands that things be sorted out with YouTube so that you can have access to all those videos. Go and check video of week 3 where we talk about the structure, how you move from ideas to parts of the books to chapters and to the various components of the chapters. So I feel like asking you now, um, how has it been for you doing the assignment last week? As you know, I like to hear from you. I feel like it's when I hear your comments, your questions, that I can judge if the content is resonating, if it's helping, or if it's actually providing you value. So I feel like asking you from the assignments of last week, from the action items of last week, which was to really stop and take the time and reflect on and complete the structure of your book. How was it? Have you finished with the structure? Do you know exactly how many chapters your book have? Do you have an idea on the different sections in each chapter? If you want, I would like to hear from you. If you're watching this after, feel free to come and post a comment. How was it for you? How far with your outline is what I will ask you in um the chat. And again, not sure how I will get your answers here. Now I'm seeing just what I'm typing. I will learn and understand. For now, give you the question. Even if you're watching the replay, you can answer below the video. It's still fine. It gives me idea on what is happening with you, which is what matters to me. So today, essentially, we'll talk action. How do you move from what we did last week, from the structure of your book to actually having an action plan? Yeah, I love to ask questions. I'm asking you, are you a spontaneous? But let's come back to this after. I want us to get into the meat of things. How do you move from the book structure, the mind map, to actually having an action plan to write your book? Today, it's like you just added all the reflective questions. We are not in the meat yet. So I'll also leave this one and come back to it. How do you do that? Some more reflection, but we want the action. We want action. We want strategy. Yes, it's what I was looking for. Thank you. Action, step 1. We want to go into more detail to actually structuring the chapters and the flow. Last week, we discussed from what's the core thing you want to discuss. What are the key parts of what you want to talk about? From the parts, can you divide each part in like 3 to 4 chapters? For each chapters, what are the key messages? Today, I want to provide another layer of detail, like what is the key message for each chapter? Ask yourself the questions. What is the key message? What are the supporting points? And are there stories, research, case study that you will use to support, to tell the story? This is important because the more you have things to showcase, to demonstrate, to support, the heavier your book will be, especially when you're writing nonfiction. But again, as I like to say, even if it's not nonfiction, even if you're writing a novel, seeing all the details of the environment, of the history of that time, of the context, can really set your novel to really bring the reader in. So your choice of, do I start with an introduction, a little story here, a key message, depending on the type of your book, there will be various elements to use in the chapters. And it's good to decide that, because when you decide, you already know the chunks, the portion, the big parts of the chapter. You also need to decide this one, do I use a story, an experience, a research, a case study to illustrate? So these are kind of the detail that will make like the texture of your story. If it's like a song, deciding which portion do I put in the chorus, in the verses, where do I put the bridge? It's what we are talking about here regarding your book. So if you arrange this very well, that song will be a wonderful one. You cannot just come and throw things like that, but deciding, okay, I'll repeat this, I'll talk this, I'll put some emphasis, I'll add more volume on this aspect, will help with the flow and the overall organization of your chapter. So action number 1 is, let's go back to the outline that you created last week. And as you take that outline for each chapter, decide key message, supporting point, and then what I call, the texture, example, story, personal experiences, research, quotes, I don't know, even social media trend. You can use whatever work for the type of book you're writing. Decide on that, and then you do that for each chapter. As you complete this section, like when you finish structuring the chapter in detail, you're ready to go. You have a book. Now you just have to execute the book, if I may say so. It's kind of, you have a plan or a strategy to achieve your goal, to deliver on that app. It's a plan, like a roadmap. Now you have to execute that roadmap to get the result. You have to execute that roadmap to get that app, to get those numbers, to achieve that target, that sales target. Execution. Which brings us to action step 2. Having that plan, having the detailed structure of your chapters, now you have to do the work, which is writing the book in small steps. You may feel like, Judy, that's a lot of chapters, a lot of work. And when you describe it, it's not complicated. When you have like, this is the big key message, supporting point, I will use example, research, case studies, and this and that. And this is the overall flow of my chapters. Now you have to write it. Maybe you came up with 5 chapters, 7, 20 chapters, and this in general is the place where a lot of people give up, because it's like, oh, it's too long, it's too complicated. The idea here, remove that overwhelm by chunking the task in small portion. The secret here, chunk, small, mini. That's the secret word. The secret, chunk it. Chunk it. It may sound like, oh my God, it takes so long to finish a chapter. If you've ever written a thesis, you may understand what I'm talking about. But the idea here, instead of letting the overwhelm take over, just imagine 15 minutes, I will do what I can with the 15 minutes. Well, I'll do at least the introduction. I will do paragraph 1 or 2. I will do 2 paragraphs per day. I would write, I will go by elements of the book. So maybe start with the key messages, I'll write the stories, I'll collect the research, whatever works for you, but definitely chunking it in small portion will make it more achievable. Let's take the example. If you decide, I don't want to be very ambitious, as those people who say they can sit an hour or two writing, 30 minutes is my maximum, and even that, excellent. I love and take and appreciate your 30 minutes. Just sit down and do whatever you can in 30 minutes and observe. If you develop the routine of that 30 minutes every day, observe after 3, 4, 5, a week, how much content you have. It can be a lot. It can be more than you think. And if you doubt, give it a try. Give it a try and see by yourself. And one thing I like to talk about, like today with technology, 30 minutes recording what you want to say can be more than 1,000 or 2,000 or even 3,000 words. You doubt, give it a try. With the structure, detail, flow, and kind of the general organization of your chapter, just take this thing, click on record, and start to talk your book. Masterful coaching is like the third level, or you say whatever. And before long, you will notice 300, 500, just 5 minutes, and look at the number of words that the transcription gives you. I can hear you say, oh, yeah, but Judy, that's just really raw. It's unedited. That's what we want to do in month 2. Just get it out. Get all that content, all those examples, everything you want to talk about, just get it out. Don't try to edit. Just get it out. I really challenge you, take this thing, even if it's 15 minutes, even 5 minutes a day, if it's your coffee break. Take this thing, take the outline and speak your book. Those who do accounting, entrepreneur in general, they're having blah blah blah. Just say and record it, and after transcribe. And I can bet it will be more than 500 words. It will be more than 500. I say 5 minutes. It will be more than 500 words. Now imagine if you take 2 breaks per day, and you end up like writing 1,000 or 2,000 per day. In a week, you'll have more than 7,000, getting closer to 10,000 words. They are unedited, fine, but they are your ideas that you're collecting. And at the end of the month, 7,000 is like 30,000 words. I don't know how many chapters. In the last month, when you start to go through it, to tune it, to arrange, you will see the good content that you have. The challenge this month, get that out. Move from thinking I could to actually just say it. Just talk about it. And I've found that if typing is something difficult, use this. And you don't even need to buy an app. There are very good apps out there that you can actually speak the book. And after you do minimal editing, and it will be good. But don't just wait. Speak the book with whatever time you have. A lot of people, their dream, their authoring a book dies here because they don't dare to continue. It's like it's too overwhelming. And what I'm offering, what I'm proposing, and I'm pleading that you give it a try. Chunk it down. Chunk it down. You can afford 30 minutes, go for 30 minutes. You can afford 15 minutes, go for 15 minutes. You can afford 5 minutes, go for 5 minutes. Whatever seems like a no-brainer, go for it. The magic lies in regularity. 5 minutes, 500 words times, I don't know how many times. And that's why I'm saying the secret lies in the times. 500 times 5 is 200, 2,500, which is like a good chapter. It's a good chapter, which is just like 5 small coffee breaks. And in general, we stay more than 5 minutes. So if you just double that, that's 5,000. Whoa, do you see how it's coming? So don't let with the wonderful plan and all the work. Sometimes I push until I say the hardest is behind. If you already have that structure, the key message of my book is this, the major parts are this. These are the key chapters. And for each chapter, I want to talk about 3 to 5 points, which are A, B, C. And I want to illustrate with story, graph, diagram, quotation, or whatever. This is the general flow I want to use. You have your book is there. Now you just have to execute the book. I'm curious to hear what you think about this. I'm curious to hear what you think. So, my secret action point number 2 after the structure is to chunk it down. And one strategy that I really found made a difference for me, for all the like since I discovered it, it's the Pomodoro technique. It's so cool. It's not for nothing that a lot of IT teams, a lot of agile teams, they use Pomodoro. What's the Pomodoro? Like you set the timer and you don't even if it's not complicated. Go and ask Google Pomodoro. It'll give you a link where you just go and enter the task and then you do the counting for you. But how does it work? You work for 25 minutes and then you take 5 minutes break. It can be 25-5 or 50-10. I like small chunks, so I do 25-5 because it's like after every 25 minutes, I can have a little break. When your brain knows I have 25 minutes to say everything I have to say about this point or this other point on the chapter, you say you like there's no time for blank space. You just know you have, and your brain knows you have 25 minutes. It will go fast. And that's the beauty of the Pomodoro technique. Have you ever noticed that at home? Well, I'll take my example. If I say, oh, this Saturday I have to clean up the house. If I say just Saturday, you'll be the whole day. And it is something that has happened to me not once or twice, but many times. If I say, oh, general cleaning this Saturday, I'll start maybe in the morning after exercise. And then sometimes till 6 p.m., moving, opening. Why is that? Because I said Saturday. So I feel like tasks, they tend to spread over the time that you give them. Observe yourself. Like when you say, I have 2 hours to study for my exam, I have 2 hours to get the table ready for my invitees. I have just an hour to complete this before the next. It's like when you say that, your brain also hears it and you work like faster. And that's the power of the Pomodoro, because as you have that structure for your book, okay, I have 25 minutes to I don't know, write 500 words to talk about these 2 key points in the chapters. You may be surprised, but you will do it. You will do it. We even see that in coaching because it kind of sets a box. And because you know you have just 25 minutes, you work fast, ideas will flow, and you capture the whole thing, 25 minutes, and then you can go to your next thing. There are so many of my LinkedIn article that I wrote like that because sometimes I was writing them at work. I have an hour of break or one person counseled, and I have this objective to say post a post per week. If I don't do that now, I have other things coming. Okay, an hour. How do we do that? Okay, Pomodoro one. I'll just capture everything I want to say in the article. And then there's the second one, I do the editing. And before the hour is completed, the post is live. It works, guys. You doubt? Try and tell me how it spans out for you. And it's because it works so well that I'm offering you, go and try the Pomodoro technique. And you can have it on your phone. You can have it if you are just connected to internet. Go and type Google. You give you a link. You add the activities, and then you just do it. Speak the book, 25 minutes. You have the title. You just talk, whatever you want to say, following the structure and the flow that we talked about last week. And in action step 1, when you know exactly the path in this chapter, key message, key point, key message, key elements, the sub elements I want to talk about, and this is the flow. This is how I organize my idea. Key message, introduction, key message, illustration, key message, research, key message, and then conclusion. You just say it exactly as it comes, like that. And in 25 minutes, that's like half of a chapter down, or maybe a chapter a day. Imagine how far you will go with your book. And I feel like asking you, do you think using that technique, is it still overwhelming to write, to execute that book? Let me know in the chat. This brings us to strategy number 3, which is set the time on your agenda. Please set the time on your agenda. Set the time on your agenda. That's the action step number 3. Because you can think, you can see it possible. If you don't plan it, it may not be priority. And I don't know how you function, but for a lot of people, if you just think, I would like to do this, I would like to do that, it's great. If there's no other thing, other priority, you may actually make time to do it. But for most people, it has to be on the agenda. That's why blocked time on your agenda as something is a strategy very much recommended to achieve goal. Like, be intentional, putting the writing on your schedule, and I even feel like saying, pause the video, go and find that agenda of yours, and identify in the week, where are the pockets, where are the places where you want to write. Guys, we are talking execution. It will not happen just like that if you're sleeping, if it's not on your agenda, if you don't sit down and talk or write or type that book. No, you'll have make progress from the idea to this wonderful book ready to execute. It still take execution. And one strategy that ensure your book is executed is actually putting time for that on your agenda. Just go and block the time. Again, it doesn't have to be an hour. You can do 5 minutes, put the 5 minutes, but actually block it. Meaning, in that 5 minutes is 5 minutes for writing, not 5 minutes carrying the baby here, cooking. Can you write when you're cooking? No. Can you actually type and get creative when you're doing something else? That's why find time and make it kind of an appointment with you and the writer in you, as if you had an appointment with a friend, with someone you value. Put that on your agenda. Appointment with author Judith. Appointment with. And because if it's not prioritized, it will not happen. If you're also following the other series, go and watch the video on Leadership Week 3 or 4. That actually says effective people, they prioritize things. If you don't prioritize, it will not happen. Like, I don't know what stage of life you are in and what your routine looks like, but even if you are a student, when you wake up, depending on your routine, you may wake up, I have to study for my exam, get the visit of a friend, have to go out, have to do this or that. If you don't prioritize to sit down and write, well, a book or no book will not actually change your grade this year. So you'll go down the list. If you are, it's even worse again when you're a parent. Because as soon as you wake up, you may have a little time when other people, spouse, kids are still sleeping. But when they wake up, Mom, I'm hungry. Mom, what are we eating? What are we doing today? And you have to care for all these people while doing your own to-do list, cleaning, washing, preparing groceries, helping kids with assignments. With all of that, okay, well, writing can wait. It's not a good place. Like, there's no focus. And that's why I'm saying put time and get intentional. If you can, find for yourself a little a little space for creation. Um, it takes a lot of intention. I'll be completely honest. You cannot just sit and it will just happen. The chapters will appear like that. It takes intention. It takes routine. It takes commitment. That's why habit will help to keep that commitment. That's why John Maxwell will talk about discipline. Like just even when you don't feel it, I laugh when I was in a conference with him and he's like, for him, writing is one of his superpower and he's committed to grow that superpower. That's why every day he reads, he writes, he organizes. He does these three things every day. And someone was just, I don't know if they were just joking or trying to really check. They asked, "Oh, John, do you do that even on your birthday?" And he said, "Every day I read something, I write something, I organize, I fight." All of this to say that it's a routine he wants to build, has nothing to do with your feeling. But the routine will get him to perfect his art. The routine will get his brain to remind him, oh, there's some writing. In that routine, he'll come up with new ideas. In that routine, he'll create good stuff. So having routines is great. And I know like working parents, they don't have a lot of time. That's why I'm saying it's not about getting committed to an hour or to 2 can you do 30 minutes? Someone told me I have 30 minutes. It's so good. I take your 30 minutes. So, how do you block the 30 minutes? How would you use the 30 minutes? What's your goal for the 30 minutes? Imagine you get into 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, I want to come up with like 1,000 words. And in terms of structure, because another thing, when people succeed to have time, it's blocked. Oh, they sit, where do I start? And that's why all the work we did till last week, or even till today, will help with that. Like there's no guesswork. Just sit down, open that plan with the structure of your chapters, key message, key subpoints, how you organize it, story, experience, study, and then just say it, just execute. And that's the beauty of creating a structure. There is no reason to procrastinate. You have 30 minutes, there's at least one thing you can pick on the list of things. I will bring this down, and then it's easier. It's easier. Another reason to have all this structure is that, well, there's no reason to procrastinate. You have a lot of topics. If you are lacking ideas on one area, your 30 minutes, you can move forward with another area, but keeps you in action, keeps you in action. And you have already done the work. If you've been taking action since week one, you already have that structure. What we just added today was how do you organize the chapters? So if you have a 30 minutes, I even feel like asking you now, if you have an extra 10 or 15 minutes or 30 minutes, how can you use it for your book? It's easy for us to say, oh, Judith, I don't have the time because busy, blah, blah, blah. What happens when maybe you have an appointment with a friend or something you had to do and then the thing is canceled? How do you manage this unplanned free time? How do you leverage that? Oh, most of us either we will do this and start to scroll, or we will go and sit in front of Netflix or Prime and watch a movie. Those things are good. It's great to relax. But imagine if you just took 30 minutes, go into that aisle of creation and just pick one of those stickers of the post-it and just see the text, whatever you want to see about that content. If you develop that every day, 30 minutes, just try it and see the progress you're writing. Chunk it down, put it on the agenda, and keep your commitment. I'm curious what comes up for you when you hear all of this. Judith is still figuring out how chat works in Restream, so I cannot read whatever you're saying. But even if you're watching the replay of this, please just let us know in the comment what you think, how it resonates with you. So these are the three things I suggest to turn that outline into your action. Put the time on your agenda, set a goal in terms of word count, and observe, like, when do you tend to be more productive, creative. Ideally pick that time for writing, because if you are in your creative zone, you can write more, you can produce more. And a very important one, track your progress. Track your progress. Track your progress. This is what will keep the momentum going. This is what will shake you. Oh, this year you have some catch up to do. I love the person who said, if you're not measuring, if you're not tracking, well, you cannot really know if you're making progress or no. Tracking is important. When you know that, okay, I want to write a book, depending on my structure, I have like 12 chapters, and each chapter, to make it simple, is like 2,000 words. So we're talking about a book of around 25K words. 25K, if I have to finish it in 4 weeks, if I divide by 4, that's about 12.5. That's about 6,000-7,000 per week. That's about 1,000 per day. 1,000 per day could be talking for 15 minutes or less, typing for 30 minutes or less. So now you have that visual, and if that's your goal, 7,000 words per week, and then you track. I suggest tracking daily, not waiting at the end of the week. Okay, I say 7,000, and then Saturday evening, how did I do? On Sunday, nah, because there's great chance you will just forget about the whole thing, and it's on Sunday that, oh my god, now I'm late of like 6,000. Sometimes we'll set the goal, and then the first day we motivate, next day hard, forget, Wednesday. But when you track daily, 7,000 means, I don't know, 1,000 per day, and then you stop and look. Monday I did 700. Tuesday, was on fire. I did 2,000. Wednesday, no writing. Thursday, no. I'm already Thursday, just 3 more days, and I just have 3,000. I have 4,000 to catch up. You give the message, you have to catch up, and you will find and leverage other pockets to catch up. But if you were not tracking, you just wait till Sunday to notice that, phew, this week I just did 2,000. I thought it was more. So regularly tracking can keep you up. And another good reason for tracking is it gives you momentum. When you look, wow, I was on fire just 3 days in this, and I already have 4,000. You just more energy to keep going, to continue to do what you're doing. And that's what we want. As long as there's momentum, there will be action. And by now, you know, action is where results live. So you want results, you need to get in action. And tracking your progress can help make that happen. Tracking will make you see that there's advancement, even on hard. Sometimes there are hard days. Life happens. Life happens. But even if you have a very difficult week where you're middle of the week and you've written nothing, looking at the progress from day one, from previous week, whoa, I can do this. I have done this. And if I can do again. There's value in tracking. So please use the formula that works for you. It could be something as simple like an Excel. So you just put the days and the weeks, and you just track day one, day two, week one, week two. Or it can be an app. There are lots of apps out there that you can use to track your writing progress. So this is something I suggest as action to really turn that outline, that plan, that roadmap for your book to make the execution real, concrete, something you can follow up. What do you think about this plan? Would like to hear from you. I just added it to the chat and will be curious to hear what you think. This brings us to kind of maybe the reflective portion, because this is like the meat of today. Turning that outline into your action plan to write the book. You have your structure. Number one, turn the structure into something detailed with the flow and the various elements. Number two, chunk it down. Instead of thinking big, small pockets, small places for you to sit down and execute. Small pockets, action step three, that you put on your agenda. You set clear goals for how many words, when, what frequency, what time of the day, and how you will track the progress. If you do this, you have your game plan. If you do this, you have your game plan to turn the wonderful outline into a book. Because as you follow the plan, time put on your agenda, number of words you set for each session, booking the time on the time when you are most productive, and tracking the little progress you're making, what will stop you? What will stop you? Because a place and time and what and follow through is already built in there. You just have to just execute. Just execute. Sounds like easy, nice, and cool to me, but I would like to hear how it resonates with you, because at the end of the day, it should work for you. Use the strategy, the time slot, the period, the moment of the day, the formula, the tracking app that works for you. And I'm curious to hear how it is working for you. I'm seeing that time is running. We have like about 10 minutes to go. So this is the key learning reflective question. I'm curious. What are you willing to commit this week to do to move your book project forward? When we talked about putting the time on the agenda, when do you see that writing happening? Guys, think small, think no brainer. Can you have 15 minutes, 10 minutes, even five works well? I love you 5 minutes. Put that on your agenda. When is it happening? 5 minutes after exercise, 5 minutes before putting kids on, after putting kids in the bed. When? Identify your time and just go for it. But I would just invite you to visualize. Just stop now and think about the week coming. When are you seeing you sitting down in that creative aisle to write the book? Let us know in the chat what you want to do, what you see happening. And the next thing I want to invite you to reflect on is what could be an obstacle? When you had that vision of you writing, what could stop it from happening as you visualize it? And what strategy could you use to stay on track? I love so much this portion. We even use it in coaching. Why? Because proactively thinking about what could stop your plan from being achieved allows you to also prepare a plan to manage that. For example, when I visualize next week, wow, it's kind of a busy week. Yeah, I have the pockets. Ideally, it will be, say, 15, 30 minutes after I put the kids in the bed. But sometimes that's when hubby calls me. That's when some friends call to check on me. Oh, so the obstacle here could be distractions from calls, from friends. What can you do about that? If I lock myself and stay away from the phone, yay, you just found for yourself a strategy to manage the obstacle. If the obstacle could be, well, yeah, I have this pocket of time, but in general, it's noisy. Kids are running here. There's this happening. People visit a lot. Cool. What can you do about that? Go to the library. Go to the library. I love library. Yeah, It's quiet, it's calm. You can think, you can just allow creativity to flow. Can you go to the library in that pocket of time? This is you again identifying an obstacle and a way to fight. What else could stop you from writing? Well, I may not have, I may not be inspired. I may sit down and have no idea what to write. Hey, and that's the beauty of having the structure, the overall structure of your book. If you have no idea to write on chapter one, can you get started on chapter two? Yes, no blank. Oh, I'm still waiting on the research from this colleague or this doctor. Fine. Can you get started on experience, on story that you will spice your book with? Are you noticing? As you proactively think about what could be an obstacle, you also get ideas on how to counter, to how to go through, how to manage the obstacle. So it's my reflection. That's why I offered these questions. Reflect on what could stop you and what can you do about it. Judith, go, rush about 10 of how many more minutes? I put this flexible thing to let you know it's good to be disciplined, to have a routine. You can add flexibility to the routine. What do I mean? We know that discipline, commitment, routine is great. Excellent. It's good if you can build in some flexibility, meaning I want to write, ideally would like to do 30 minutes before everyone else wakes up at home. Well, yeah, but just in case it doesn't work, it shouldn't ruin all my plan. Just in case it doesn't happen in the morning, where else can I find another 30 minutes to do this? When you proactively plan with flexibility, because you know if you miss the opportunity, the window in the morning, you still have another window in the afternoon, or you have another window in the evening. So because so many times I hear people say, Judy, time. How can you intentionally plan, make time, but also build in flexibility? Just give it a try. For me, chunking it is the secret, because if I know I'm going in for 30-minute pockets, I can find 30-minute pockets. If the 30 minutes in the one in the morning like get used by something unplanned but urgent, where else can I negotiate a 30 minutes pocket? Maybe before going to pick the kids from school, I could get another 30 minutes. Later on, I can also get 30 minutes in the evening while waiting, I don't know, for the food to be ready, for the kids to fall, whatever. You can always find a way to negotiate, especially if you're talking small chunks of time. There's less flexibility if you're talking about something, say, 4 hours. No, you don't have a lot of flexibility. But think how you can flex and adjust your agenda. The more you're agile and willing, ready to adjust and adapt, the easier it will be for you to make progress with your writing. So this is what I had to offer in terms of adjustment time, really. For I think I asked you this one already. If there was an unplanned 10, 15, 30 minutes that got freed, how would you like to use it? Some other little strategies I want to give to keep you in the momentum, to keep you writing. As I said, for the next 4 weeks is action, action, action. Sometimes you don't always feel on fire to write, to sit and write. It's boring or tiring. It can feel like that. One thing that can help you go back to that visualization of your book completed, your book published, and your audience reading it. What are they doing? How are they interacting with it? How do you see yourself promoting it? Visualization will like bring you back to the dreamland, bring the emotion, energy, the impact, remind you of the impact of your book. And there's a good soaring that happened in that dreamland. You come out of there with the energy to keep going. Just dreaming, imagining the person, that ideal reader interacting. What are they doing? How are they feeling? How is their life changed? As you visualize that, oh, it's good. And there's great chance that as you think about that, even the hormones, what is happening, something is happening in your body too that is positive. Visualization is good, it can help. Another strategy that can help is affirmation. And I love affirmations because they tend to come from the place who you are, your identity, who you are. Sometimes you come and sit, it's time to write. I don't feel like. But if you start to say, I'm a writer, I create impact with my writing, I transform the lives of blah, 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 I provide value. Have you noticed that all the statements are kind of I can do, positive, empowering? That's the power of affirmations. You doubt? Give it a try. Give it a try. And visualization can help inform the affirmation, because when you are in that dreamland with that book published, what do you see? Who are you there? Who are you being? What are you doing? How are you showing up? I'm encouraging, I'm supporting, I'm leading, I'm influencing. This is what you saw. Now you translate that. I'm an influencer, I'm a leader, I'm a transformational change agent. When you say those things, they're strong, they're empowering, and it's hard to be saying affirmation and feel low. That's why you've seen it in movies where maybe someone is lacking confidence. In general, in movies, that I've seen a lot of people do it, maybe women, they'll sit in front of a mirror. I am like this, I am like this. It because it works. It brings you up. It's like it creates, it fuels the can do posture. And from this place of can do, I am a writer. I create impact. I transform life. I make a difference for entrepreneur. I hope, whoa, you come from a time of affirmation like this. You are just on fire and you feel like writing as behaving like the person you just described, to be one with what you affirmed you were. And being one is actually writing that content. Visualization, affirmation. And as you come out of these two strategies, this energy, this momentum, just and write a quick thing. What seems easy, it can be intro, it could be a little chapter or just a story. From this place of I do this, I do that, just come back to your plan. Which portion can you tackle? A quick win. Try it. Try, especially those strategy when you feel like, oh, low, tired, I don't even know. Try the visualization, try the affirmation, and let us know how it is working for you. It'll be soon time to go. And coming next week, we will continue with action, guys. I told you for the next 4 weeks, it will be just content to keep you in action. Keep you in action. I want to remind the key 3 things for this week, the assignment. Complete the detailed breakdown of your chapters. Complete the detailed breakdown. We talked about the chapter, the 3 to 5 key points, and then key messages. How will you give that message? The how, the flow. How will you organize? Please do that for each chapter. It will make the writing so easy. It will make the execution so easy. It will make speaking your book so easy. It will make it like, yeah, because you've already seen this chapter is all about this topic. Key point, illustration, key point, story, illustration. When it's like you just come and sit and type. You just come and sit and type. So imagine if you have your 12 chapters already mapped like that, 3 to 4 key points, how you organize which one comes after what, and then the ingredients, what I like to call the texture, what you add as spices to show, not tell, what you want to talk about in your book. Stories, quote, research, identify that and put that for your book. That's one thing. It would be great to have that completed because that will keep you in motion, not just for one or two. If you can ideally do that for all the book, because as we saw a couple minutes ago, if you get stuck in one chapter, you can use the structure and continue with the next one. So map out the structure, the flow, and the organization of your book. Next thing, um, identify, like decide, put the times on your agenda, decide on the number of words, and then track your progress. These are the three things. Commit. I'm suggesting to commit to say 500 or 1,000 or more, but commit to something every day and then track how you're doing. That's how you build the muscles, the habit. And as you will see that thing come to life, you will see what's happening with you. I can do this. I am doing this. I am making progress. I'm getting feedback. And there is the author giving birth to the book, giving birth to the book that you imagined. That you say, Julie, there's a book, there's a message I think I'm carrying. I want to be respectful of your time and close here. Uh, One last thing, we've been reminded on the key action. I would like to hear how things are going for you. So if we can encourage you, it will be cool. We want to encourage you to go, 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 go. From now on, it's all about things to keep the momentum going, because as you keep in action, pouring, writing those pages, those paragraphs, those words, you're writing that book. I also choose this quote. It's a very good one where it says, the book doesn't write itself. Your words bring that book to life. Your words. So you have this message, you have this idea, daring to say yes by putting the time on your agenda, an appointment with the author in you, showing up to that appointment, and just being will let the words out and will bring out that book that wants to be written, that message that needs to be heard, that thing, that value you want to provide to your audience. So why not give yourself the permission to just let it out? Why not give yourself the permission to give birth to that book in you? It's what I had planned for us. And I can't wait to hear how things are going for you. Next week, we will continue to share even more strategies to keep the momentum, because it's all about action, action, momentum. I'll keep you guys posted on how things go with YouTube. I wanted to say, if you didn't see this live, you can go and watch the replay. Not sure exactly how the replay works on LinkedIn or on Facebook, but I love to learn. I will learn and figure out and tell you. And I'll also update you on the situation with the YouTube. We are working with them to understand what happened. Seems like the channel was hacked. But we are working with them to fix. I'll let you know. Thank you again for all the people who reach out, say, go, 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 girl. Let's continue. Let's keep going. No matter what format or what canal, let's do our best to activate your superpowers this year. Let's do our best to bring out the author in you, to bring that story, to bring that book, to bring that message out. It was Judith Glory, and I feel privileged to be facilitating this activation for you. Looking forward to connect next week, same time in English, 10 EST in French. Question, comments, remark, you can still give them wherever you're watching this, because I look at the comments before doing the next live. Wish you all the best for the rest of the day and talk to you next time. Bye.